Sounds Like Crows contains adult content and themes. It is sponsored by Ariel Weiss, Double Up Omega, Historian of Nukes, Suzanne Hagen, and T, along with all of our other patrons at patreon.com/Sounds Like Crows. Deadlands Reloaded and Savage Worlds is owned by the Pinnacle Entertainment Group. All music on the show is written and performed by Rudy Zuniga or Levi Rojas. Hey folks, Caleb here, your host and game marshal. Two things I want to tell you about today. Number one, me and my brother, Isaac Sunstead, contributed to the SWAT Jumpstart Guide. It's a pay-what-you-want 24-page PDF that jumpstarts you into the setting of the Spells, Weapons, and Tactics universe. We teamed up with the Rocky Mountain Savages, and we wrote about using film language in RPGs to make your experience and your player's experience better. SWAT is Lord of the Rings meets Cops, so check it out. It's pay what you want on DriveThruRPG, and I will put a link down in the show notes. Secondly, at the end of last episode, I left some stuff in that I normally wouldn't leave in. The response to that has been extremely positive. I expected nothing but radio silence, but there was such an outpouring of requests for that type of content in the future. And well, your wish has been granted, because specifically this episode, there is some content that I would normally cut, sort of against our mission statement, our goals with the show, to leave a lot of table talk in, to leave a lot of out-of-character stuff in. But with this specific episode, I think it was hard for everyone to imagine the space that we were collectively trying to imagine together. And I feel that maybe some members of the audience would also have a problem contextualizing and visualizing what we're describing. So I've left that all in. And I think it also shows a really good example of kind of what we do here. Both last episode and this episode, the out-of-character content that I'm leaving in shows what an absolute treat it is to work with everybody here. We can have deeply conflicting viewpoints about something, and we can just work it out without anyone getting upset, you know? Like, we're still playing a game, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful, and I hope you enjoy it. However, to those of you that do not enjoy that type of content, to those of you that like the streamlined Crows experience where we tightly cut everything, have no fear. I'm going to continue to edit shows that way. All this did was make me a little less scared to leave that content in occasionally when it's useful for the listener. So with all that out of the way, enjoy and welcome back to the Weird West. We open on the large cavernous expanse, the hideout of the Upright Gang. There's not a lot of light in here. There's some moonlight spilling through the giant crack in the earth above that's coming down on the pew and the great tree, the garden, and the makeshift chapel nearby. South of that, we can see the large commotion that's happening. We can see at least 50 members of the Upright Gang who have taken up positions, including with Gatling guns, pointed at the living quarters, or the cells, as the Crow Boys would know them. We cut up close to Father Jeremiah as he sort of pushes Lucky away from him, still holding him by his shoulders, and then he releases you and starts to walk past you. His frame is the same as the last time you saw him, but he looks at least 60 pounds lighter. He looks emaciated, and the hair he has on his aged, cracked, and dead skin is so wispy and thin, he reminds you of a corpse as he walks by and addresses the large group that includes your brothers. People, do not be afraid. Our Lord is a Lord of mercy, and his mercy will be bestowed upon you. Our Lord is a God of second chances. So please give up your arms, and all will be well. We mean no harm to any of you. I know that you are scared. I know you're afraid. but no harm will come to you. Many of you have not even spent a night within my congregation. I assure you that it is a place of peace and mercy, a place of home and a place of hearth. Please put down your arms, for our God is a God of second chances, but not of thirds. He's going to make a persuasion roll on the crowd. He got a 5. Most of them, start to step back, especially with the prospect of getting gunned down by these 2 large Gatling cannons that are set up near the spotlights. Many of the upright gang are fully alert and armed. Seems like they're ready for this sort of eventuality. And many of them, woken from their bunks, are sort of dressed in long johns, but still holding rifles at the group. Many of the people around you sort of start to disperse and kind of, some of them put their hands up, but most of them go into some sort of act of submission, whether it be move towards the wall or put their hands up or just kind of stand where they are. And some of the upright gangs start to move in and manacle many of them.
It's a close-up shot of Abel from shoulders up. And as the searchlights pan through the crowd, they light up his face and then send him back into darkness. After a few moments of taking in the scene and seeing Lucky's reaction, he turns and he slips off to the side a little bit, looking for a tent with a little bit of a gap underneath it, someplace he can hide that box. And as soon as he finds such a nook, he sets it down, shoves it in as deeply as he can, and then sinks to his knees, and then to a sitting position, absolutely defeated.
Lucky, who's currently in the center of the spotlight, begins to feel the weight of everything crash down on him. This unexpected meeting, the blood rushing down his side, it all finally starts hitting him. He falls to one knee at first. Before the weight of that is still too much, he falls to both knees. Lady falls to the ground. He falls defeated.
The camera cuts over to Harper. It's over his face. You can see he's still prone with the rifle trained on his enemy. He glances over. The light accentuates the bruising that he has on the right side of his face, and he watches Abel hide the box and drop to his knees. He looks forward and sees Lucky collapse and give up, and he kind of looks behind him to see Thaddeus standing there, and he kind of moves up to his knees, pushes the rifle aside, realizing that if his brothers aren't going to fight, he's not going to. So he kind of throws the rifle forward and stands with his one good hand raised, defeated.
We watch the rifle slide out into the light, and then the camera will pan back up to the sliver of Thaddeus' face as he watches the last of his brothers giving up the fight. He punches the cave wall from his side and sort of stays on the other side of it. He's not going to make himself known or anything like that. But he's just sort of frustrated, defeated too.
We cut to Ellis, who is deeper in this cavern. He's lit a little bit by moonlight, and as his head swivels around with Wichuge's eyes behind his hazel ones, there are some of the upright gang moving towards Ellis's general direction, but it doesn't look like they know exactly where he is. And then Ellis, you feel your head look up and your eyes focus with more clarity than perhaps even you have under your own control, and you can see your brothers giving up one by one. It looks like your brothers aren't in on the deal, Elijah. What do you want to do? Run or kill?
I don't know. This scene doesn't make sense to me.
Sure. So
I
tell me
think
what your problem
that,
is.
like, I ran off like on all fours like a wild animal towards these gunners. I should be killing people right now while all this is going. I don't think I would stop.
I don't think you ran at the gunners. I think you ran off and you were getting shot at. That's
No,
the last
I was
thing
ghosted.
described.
That doesn't matter that I was getting shot. My point was to
Oh,
ghost,
sure.
get to the gunners, unghost, kill them. That was my plan.
So the situation is that the gunners are in the middle of about 50 members of the upright gang.
So he's just slaughtering right
So
now.
I'm in the middle of this fucking plaza, is what you're saying.
If you want to die, absolutely.
That's what I said I was gonna do. I'm ghosted though. They can't do anything about
Why
it.
don't we
you can
describe
always
the-
retcon that. Like,
Well, sure, like you can ghost in there, but sure, yeah, we can play that out.
Why
Yeah,
don't we just
absolutely.
describe a scene of you just murdering people and then Wachuge being like, this is too many, we gotta go.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
I don't think, like,
I don't think the first half
you
of that
will
scene
not
could have
survive
happened.
that. There's no way that will be a survivable situation.
I could survive it, Caleb.
You think you could survive 40 attack rolls in Savage Worlds?
Well, it's not going to be in one turn.
It would be in one turn,
They,
yeah.
they can't get adjacent to me in one turn.
They
They
have
all have guns.
I thought they were just Gatling gunners in a spotlight.
No.
No.
Gatling gunners.
Everybody in
dark
this
up there,
cave
too.
Ton
has
of people.
guns and shit.
Yeah, you killed 5. We
It's
had
dark.
we had about 197 dudes left that we had to make it through.
I understand
they're
what
not
Alex
all
was picturing
there.
though, because I was picturing these guys up on like that,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
an overhead transom or whatever
Yes.
of like a railroad over thing with a couple of guns and spotlights on it.
Yep.
And then people scattered around. But
Gotcha.
my understanding was he was booking it up. At least my headcanon was him booking it up the wall.
It doesn't make sense
Jumping
to me
onto that,
they were
fucking up
able
some
to
people and then
rally
bouncing,
200
so.
people, organize
Yeah, that
them
was pretty similar to mine
in a
too.
courtyard in a matter of minutes.
Wait, okay, so what are you asking me?
I don't know, dude. This is
Well,
weird
well,
now.
what do you
Like,
want?
My
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
my
what's the outcome you want?
my
of this?
headcanon
Yeah.
was what
Because you're
he
not
just
killing
described. Like I thought I was running up. There was going to be some guys manning some gunners.
Sure.
I would be attacking them
Sure.
as
I don't
soon
think
as
this changes anything though. Like the storyline will still be the same whether or
Yeah,
not you're killing
I think
people or not.
the only difference is he would describe you like maybe you haven't attacked anybody yet.
Yeah.
Maybe you're like charging the dude, you look down, you see that we're giving up, and then it's like, well, am I gonna fucking fight all these dudes by myself, or am I gonna dip out of here?
Yeah, that's what I was picturing because if you had there's no way you could start a fight with the large group of them. Like if you want to play that out, we certainly can, and I'm willing to roll the dice. But I imagined you'd have to pick off people on the outside that would not be, or people on the perimeter sort of that major group. So we could definitely do that. I think that's doable, but you can't go after the gunners.
Well, I
unless
guess
you wanna
how
go
are
in
they
the middle of
reacting
them.
to me right now?
Most of them have really just fixed their attention on the living quarters. There's really only a few that are running after you. Because as
Well,
far as
perfect,
everybody
then I'll
knows,
fucking kill those guys.
do you want me to just re-describe the room from your vantage point?
Yeah, I guess. And I don't know. You should probably my headcanon was there was not 200 guys here. I don't think that was made apparent at all last time, like around this courtyard.
I think that was deathly apparent. that
Yeah,
there were
I
way
definitely
too
saw
many
a
people
shit
here.
ton of people out here.
I believe so. As well.
I'm with Alex on this. I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm just saying like I can see the picture because that's what I was picturing too. 200 people in a massive camp, but no more than like maybe 10 engaged with you at any one time.
As Wachuge says that, you're on this hill. When you first came in, the only entrance to this large cave on the boat. As you're coming in there, you're on the hill that was directly in front of you. It barely inclines, and the sky is cracked open, almost like a skylight spilling in the moonlight from above, and it's coming down on this row of pews on grass. And the grass has this beautiful green that's contrasted by everything else that's dark in this room. And on that grass are these pews lined up facing a pulpit that's in front of a large tree that reaches up towards the moonlight. So you're nearby that. You've gone up the hill a little ways. You can see in the darkness flashes of the moonlight on their rifles, probably about 5 men that have broken off from this main group heading towards your general direction. As your eyes start left, you see the tunnel that many of the Upright gang came from. And then your eyes scan to the middle where you see the dock areas. Just to the right of that, you can see where the Upright gang unloads their spoils. Dozens, if not hundreds, of boxes, sacks full of food, supplies, and munitions. And there's also 2 wagons, or at least something that looks similar to a wagon, raised platforms upon which 2 Gatling guns sit that look down with the help of a spotlight into that tunnel, the living quarters you and your brothers tried to escape from, but only you were successful. You can barely pick out Lucky and the father in the spotlight, and you can't even see the rest of your brothers as they're hidden from view in the tunnel.
So my original plan was to charge the guys on these Gatling guns and try to either kill them or distract them long enough for people to get to the boats. So as I kind of hear the commotion stop from the direction I came from, well, first of all, Wei Chuge is in control here. So I guess what's his reaction to this?
He's really asking you for your input. You know, you can feel your adrenaline pumping. You can feel, although it's not an emotion you feel very often, with Weichugi in the reins, sort of a little bit of fear has taken over. Some adrenaline rushes into your system as he scans down at like these at least 36 gang members moving up to or already surrounding the Gatling guns, aiming down at your brothers and the other would-be escapees. How about we pick off one of these boys and get out of here?
What the hell's going on down there? Get a better look at it.
He looks down at the men running towards you, and then he looks up to the cave wall to the right of you. As your eyes scan up, you can see it slants inward towards you at like a 10-degree angle, running all the way up to that large crack. Weichugi jumps towards the wall, and you're confused for half a second until your fingernails grow and they turn into the shape of claws as his hands, your hands, dig into the wall. He looks down at the people running up the hill, and then he starts to clamber his way up the wall towards the spotlights below. We get this wide-angled shot looking at these people advancing on the hill towards your previous position, and the moonlight's hitting them, and then on the wall behind them we see you crawling towards your brothers. You move your way along the wall. Feels greatly unnatural, although I imagine for Ellis it's not a sense of vertigo so much as it is a sense of excitement. You move until you're above the tunnel, about 60 feet up. The spotlights are not hitting you, and you can see Lucky 60 feet down and about 20 feet towards the middle of the cavern. And Weichugi looks down. Is this a good enough view, partner? Lucky's in the middle of this spotlight, and the father sort of moved past him a little bit to address the crowd inside the tunnel.
The fuck is Lucky doing down there?
It looks like he's trying to make friends with these crazy bastards.
I thought they were supposed to try to escape on these boats.
I think that's out. And your eyes flash towards the 2 Gatling guns.
Well, now what?
We could try.
Try to do what? Take out those Gatling guns? For what?
Fair point.
I mean, you're in control of your way. I made a deal. I'll stick to it.
He smiles, and we get a close-up shot of Ellis's face with the widest grin we've ever seen on it. His eyes look manic and wild, and then his head moves up, and he sees a lone soldier by the edge of the docks. And he starts to run on the cavern wall towards that soldier. Inside of the tunnel, you guys are starting to be moved back towards your cells by a wall of guns. Many of the people around you are being put in manacles, but those that are moving quickly back towards their previous prisons are not having such action taken against them.
I think Harper's just moving with the crowd. He really doesn't want to make himself stand out at all. So he kind of is probably closer to the front of the group, moving towards the prison cells.
Abel and Thaddeus, are you guys giving in?
Yeah, I think Thaddeus is pretty resistant to being manacled back up, but I mean, it sounds like he's probably not going to have much choice. So he'll try to be one of the last ones, but other than that, it's going to be a lot of clenched jaw until he can make sure that he's not near any of the guards or anything like that.
We cut from the Crow brothers being taken to cells to Lucky standing surrounded by guns and bathed in light. As you're on the ground, 2 members of the Upright Gang grab you by your arms and start to drag you towards the other tunnel, towards the unknown.
Lucky puts up little to no resistance. He's pretty much wiped out at this point.
The camera is on the ground looking at Lucky as he starts to get dragged out of frame, and then the camera shifts focus and we can see we're looking at the docks and that soldier on them. Ellis, do your worst.
Oh, okay, sure.
I like that when it's not directed at Harper.
All right, I'm going to do a frenzy attack on this first attack. So I'm going to do 2 fighting dice.
You're going to miss.
I missed. Just kidding. I'll do a wild attack. Is he unarmed?
Yep, he's just got a gun.
So I got a 15 and a 10.
Both are hit with raises.
All right, so first attack, 9, 10, 11, plus...
I guess he's dead.
Plus 3, yeah.
No, I don't want to see this.
So as the camera shifts focus, we just see out of the darkness off the wall this animalistic figure leap, and his hands dig in to the guy's throat. No sound is made except for the splash of the water as both Elijah and his victim go off the dock. We cut underneath the water and we get this shot of the bubbles coming up from the man's mouth as he's like being dragged down by Ellis on top of him. But we can see, Ellis, you've got 3 of your fingers through his throat, touching the spine, and his body sinks down to the bottom, and then you feel yourself smile. Uechuge puts his fingers on the man's chest, cocks his head, smiles, and the guy is just screaming, looking up, slowly losing his air. Uechuge punches into the left side of his chest, but he does it with his fingers, and his fingers just punch through the flesh surrounding one of the guy's ribs. You feel your hand tighten around it, and Uechuge starts to twist and pull until finally he cracks the whole rib out, meat and all. It starts to move to your mouth.
Yikes.
And we cut. Lucky, you're dragged half unconscious through the second part of this compound. You're pulled past several workshop areas. There seems to be the smell, sort of signature smell and sound of ghost rock in the air. It's one of those sequences where it's sort of a blurry, shaky cam point of view from Lucky being dragged on the view on the ground as he peeks into these rooms. You can see bubbling vials, cola being concocted, ghost rock powered machinery, dead bodies. And then finally you're dragged around a corner. You see a locked door guarded by 2 men. And then past that, the twisting, cavernous tunnel starts to open up. It smells a lot better in here than it does in the rest of the cavern. And you can soon see why. The entire area is lit by these candles that are scented. And the whole room smells of mint as you're pulled in here. It looks like a traditional sheriff's office almost. There are these individual iron-barred cells built into the side of this cavern. Everything in here is more lavish than it was anywhere else. There are rugs on the floor, bear skin, beaver, and ones that look imported. The whole room, in addition to being lit by those candles, has a large chandelier hanging from its 12-foot tall ceiling. This red stone in here, clearly carved by dynamite and by hand. And you're dragged into a cell, put gently on a cot, and then the cell slams shut behind you.
Do I still have any of my guns, or I guess my lady?
I think the lady was taken away from you. Since it was so nearby, I think one of the guards on their way out dropped it on the father's desk.
Okay.
Your eyes stay shut for a little bit, and the only sound you can hear in this room is this light wheezing, just like a...
Is it in like an adjacent cell, or?
You crack your eyes open, maybe lean up a little bit, and you look around, and you see the ruined, waterlogged, and broken figure of Coronel Manuel Mondreon.
No way. That's crazy. Holy shit. Yeah. Lucky kind of drags himself over to the edge of the cell, slams against it, kind of using it as his only ability to remain standing. Hey, how'd you make it out?
No thanks to you.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really leave on the best of terms, but I can assure you that wasn't my initial thought.
It was my fault. I shouldn't have trusted you.
I mean, yeah, that's probably true, but you can trust us now. We gotta get out of here.
I don't think I need you for that.
I don't suppose there's any mirrors in here, because you're not quite looking up to the task, asshole.
Fortunately for me, my only answer to every situation isn't shoot.
Well, then what are you cooking up for this one? Because I don't want to be here very long, I'll tell you that much.
I suppose you weren't the brother that shot me.
Hell, I never hit anything, really.
What does everyone want, Mr. Crow?
Well, knowing this asshole, probably power. I don't know, probably control. Doesn't answer my question, though.
I've informed them who I am, and they've sent word. As soon as they're able, a ransom will be sent for me.
And then you'll come in here and wipe these guys out, right?
I I should never have come this far south. Should never have pursued magic or tangled with you brothers. There's nothing down here but death and fool's gold.
I didn't peg you for such a coward. I would like to attempt to roll taunt.
This is going to be opposed by his smarts. I think he's going to get a -3 from his wounds, and then he's going to get a -4 because that's a really fucked up thing to say to him.
Oh, like he's going to take quite offense
Yeah, it was
to
a
that.
good
Okay,
argument.
gotcha.
Yeah, no way. Roll it. See how many raises you get
I'm probably also getting a -3, right?
from your wounds.
So
Yeah.
1.
You rolled a 1,
Yeah.
so you still get a raise on him.
Sweet.
I think, yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Wait, does that actually work in Savage Rolls? Do we go into the negatives? Or is it just
Ooh.
like 0?
I don't know, but in this scenario, we're going to say yes.
It
If
does
I'm
work.
wrong,
I like
tweet at
it.
me at Sounds of Crows. He lunges up from his bed, and you can see that his throat has just been bandaged over. It doesn't look soaked in blood, but his clothes are ruined. His guns have been removed, and his normally silky hair is tangled and matted on his head. His goatee is sort of scraggled out in every direction, and he lunges at the bars, and he tries to grab you.
Lucky's going to let him grab him.
He grabs you by your sky blue vest and slams you into the bars so you're an inch away from his face. The only reason I came here, your brother took away from me. She's dead.
Lucky shines a big gold smile at him. Easy, partner. Trust me. We'll get revenge for Abuela.
It's too late for that. I could have saved her with your brother's help if he had let me. You ruined it all. And there will be revenge. And he pushes you away from the bars, sort of pushing himself back more than anything.
Lucky's probably just going to drag himself over to his cot and sit down.
The last thing he does is sort of leans with his back against you, and he reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out something in his hand, maybe a piece of paper that you couldn't see. And he slowly recites something to himself, whispering it so you can't hear it. You hear the rustle of paper on paper, and then he puts whatever it was back in his jacket pocket. You guys are put back in your cell, missing Lucky, Elijah, your brother Ellis, gone somewhere. The only silver lining is that old Boot was put in the cell with you.
Oh, thank goodness.
Well, I got to say, that was a nice try there, boys, but looks like the upright gang got the last laugh on you.
Fuck off. Abel pushes past them, stumbling forward. There's definitely a concussion or something from that last blow to the head and the explosion before that also hit him in the head. And he stumbles through the room looking for the best looking bed that exists there. If anybody's in it, kicks him, pushes him out and takes it. If no one's in it, he just collapses into it.
The shot is old Boot looking at Abel collapsing in the corner. He looks to Thaddeus and Harper, who are similarly defeated. Old Boot mutters to himself and slumps down against the iron bars. And then we slow fade away to underneath the water, where the sight of this man's body would be too horrific to show on camera. So the shot is just looking up almost from the man's rib cage. We can see like some broken bits of bone and mangled flesh and blood sort of seeping out towards the surface of the water, but we don't see the full picture. We just see Elijah's face. Blood is not smeared on his face, but it is coming off in wispy trails, like a sea creature after a kill.
On account of me being underwater, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Come on, Wei-Chugi. Haven't you had enough?
Oh, I have been waiting for that for so long. It'll do. Let's get out of here.
Wait,
What?
let's take this body up.
Mm.
Leave it somewhere where they'll see it.
Oh, baby, I like the way you think. And he grabs it and he starts to swim out. You swim out a little ways from the entrance, and he looks around and he looks up, and your eyes are pulled by Wei-Chugi towards that like broken, cracked top of this large cavern where these two mesas have fallen against each other. And you remember even when you were on the wall, there was that moonlight spilling in. He sort of waits for you to weigh in without saying what he's thinking.
How the hell do we get out of here?
I say we go up.
Just climb straight up? You can do that?
Oh, you let me out more, baby. I'll show you what this thing can do.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
He grabs the man's body and ties it around your neck like a broken, bloodied cape. Some of the bits are lost as his clawed hands swim towards the side of this large rock formation, and then he drags you out and then just starts leaping feet at a time, his claws digging in as he jumps you up the canyon wall. The next shot is on the ground looking over this cliff face with a starry night, and then we see a clawed hand come over the edge, and then a second one, and then the smiling face of Weichuge pops over the edge. He pulls himself up, rips the man from around your neck, and starts to drag him towards the center. We get this overhead shot where we can see these two large dark shapes of the top of this thing you're standing on, and then down in the cracks you can see that tree being lit up by the moonlight. And Weichuge comes and ends on the edge of that, and he looks over the edge and then looks to the guy.
I kind of wanted it to like be placed down there because the fall's going to damage him, you know?
I mean,
Dude, but how brutal, because they're going to be all fucking sitting down there and they're just going to hear a massive thud.
Yeah.
They're going to turn
Yeah,
around.
can I hear people?
yeah.
I want to try and throw it where people are.
Okay, cool. Let's say fuck Suede and have you make a strength roll.
Oh, 7.
You grab the body and launch it down below. You can hear the sickening thud and the splash as it lands near a group of soldiers. People start to scream. Weichuge smiles.
Oh, that should do the trick.
Let's do this again sometime.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Can I have my body back now?
He licks his lips and puts your pinky finger between your teeth and kind of moves your tongue over it. He sighs, and then you have control again.
As soon as I get control, I just have like a shaky hand, just kind of reaches for one of my last remaining bottles of whiskey I've got in my satchel. I just pop the cork, just chug the whole thing down. But it has absolutely zero effect on me now because I'm a harrowed. And I kind of shakily just look at the bottle, just throw it.
I say we keep on doing this until we get my brothers back. Maybe try and think of something else.
Oh, baby, we don't have to think of another thing.
I'll make a deal with you.
I like the sound of that.
If we don't stop this sleep, if we just keep going nonstop, I'll let you do that some more.
If we're gonna do this, we do this smart. They got boats coming in and out of this place. They must. We'll jump them when they come in. We'll jump them when they go out. We'll jump anyone that comes to find us up here, and we'll eat every one of their goddamn faces. We'll shove their teeth down their brothers' throats until they give your brothers back to us.
You know, for the first time, Weichuge, I'm on board with this.
I'm gonna show you what freedom tastes like, Elijah. Thank you for listening to Sounds Like Crows. If you like the show, the best thing you can do is tell a friend about us or leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. The cast of Sounds Like Crows is as follows. Caleb Sunstead plays the Marshal at Marshal Caleb on Twitter. Abel the Crow is at Abel the Crow on Twitter, played by my brother, Isaac Sunstead. Thaddeus is played by Marshall Sims at Mr. Malicious1. Ellis is played by Alex Horrell at Alex Horrell. And then Lucky is played by Cameron Day, who's abhorrently absent from social media. However, you can check him out on our Discord server for our patrons. And bringing up the rear, little baby Daisy Crow, Harper Crow, played by Cameron Reed at CJ Reed 211. See you next Monday.